Assalamu alaikum everyone. So today inshallah we're gonna continue our reflection on Surah Yousef alayhi salam, and inshallah we'll be able to finish the whole surah today inshallah. We have been discussing Surah Yousef now for almost 2 months or more. Like this is gonna be the 10th session of discussing one of the best stories, as Allah mentioned in the beginning of the surah, أحسن القصص, which is the best of the stories. So in the last session we reached to the last phase of the story of Yusuf alayhi salam. And by the way, by the end of this session, we're gonna have like a summarization of all the wisdoms and lessons that we learned from Surah Yusuf alayhi salam, and how we can see it in or apply the benefit that we gain from it in our life, inshallah, in a more psychological way, in our lifestyles, on every aspect of our life. And this is why we're trying to take the wisdom out of it, or see what Allah trying to deliver to us through mentioning the story with that specific order, with that specific details. So we reach ayah number 96 or 95. So it's where the time where Yusuf alayhi salam told them, go back to my father and give this shirt, my shirt, to him, and he will go back seeing. He will not be blind anymore. فَلَمَّا أَنْ جَاءَهُ الْبَشِيرُ, when al-Bashir is one of his son, came, he threw it in his face. Then he regained his sight. فَارْتَدَّ بَصِيرًا قال لم أقل لكم إني أعلم من الله ما لا تعلمون. And then Yaqub alayhi salam said, didn't I told you that I know from Allah what you don't know? And this is what husn al-dhan, what he thought about Allah, this is what came true. After all the things that happened to him, he still have this connection and faith in Allah, that Allah will return to him Yusuf alayhi salam and also Binyamin. So, and subhanallah, when you think about it, like in the beginning of the story, there was when they threw Yusuf alayhi salam in the well, and then they brought a shirt with his with blood. It's the same, like, see the beginning of the story and the end of the story, they all related to a shirt. And this shirt started with like a fake lie, or a lie that they did regarding Yusuf, or the shirt of Yusuf. And then at the end of the story, this shirt of Yusuf alayhi salam was the reason for the remedy, or the cure of his father blindness. So subhanallah, like, there is certain wisdom in this type of things. But what you thought that it would be this thing that could deliver you the most or the worst news in your life, it could be the same thing that can deliver you the best news in your life. And this median, let's say, it was the shirt of Yusuf alayhi salam. This shirt, it made Yaqub, so maybe he was killed by the wolf at that time. But at that time, but later on, from this shirt, he know that Yusuf alayhi salam is still alive. So subhanallah, like, this is the story of that Allah create that story. How enjoyable, how interesting. You know, when you see a movie and you see a plot twist, and then you got surprised when you connect the lines in the beginning of the story and then the end of the story, and then you see, like, this movie is so good, it shocked you when you connect all these dots. Subhanallah, this is why it's considered as the best of the stories, because it's so interesting. It's so like well written, well put together, subhanallah. And all of the creator, Allah who create the story. And as we mentioned, Allah put Yusuf alayhi salam into this type of situation for a wisdom behind it, for a purpose behind it. And Allah says, يُدَبِّرُ الْأَمْرِ. Allah is the one who's planning and doing all of this for a reason. To end up in a certain position for Yusuf salam, to end up in a certain power, to have this certain changes in his personality that will eventually be the best for him. Otherwise, if he didn't went through all of these, he wouldn't be in the same place that he is eventually. Okay. So, and then again, as we mentioned, like faith in Allah and having this husn al-dhan and knowing that Allah eventually will show you the truth, will show you the things that you were looking for. And because of the Prophet, they were more close to Allah. So he said, I know from Allah what you didn't know. So he had this feeling, but he kept it. He knew that Yusuf's still alive. And he had this connection with Allah, which makes also his faith more and more, because he believed that Allah inshallah will return his son to him. قالوا يا أبانا استغفر لنا ذنوبنا إنا كنا خاطئين. Okay. So now they realize that they're doing something wrong. They did something wrong. So they start to ask for their father to do forgiveness or istighfar to Allah for their sins. And they admitted that they were sinful, or they did wrong thing. قال سوف أستغفر لكم ربي إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. So here he said, I'm gonna do istighfar for you, okay? And Allah is the most forgiving and most merciful. Again, they could do istighfar by themselves, but also because they know how close Yaqub alayhi salam to other people, so Yaqub, how close to him to Allah. That's why they felt that their istighfar maybe is gonna be more accepted of Allah, or like they need this istighfar. But again, you need to also do the istighfar from your side. But it's not wrong to ask other people to pray for you and do istighfar or ask Allah for forgiveness, if you feel that these people are like maybe more closer to Allah, or they do much good deed. فلما دخلوا على يوسف آوى إليه أبويه وقال ادخلوا مصر إن شاء الله آمنين. Okay. So they return back to Yusuf, and at that time he awa, that means he brought together his father, his parents to his side, and he said, enter Egypt by the willing of Allah, safe and secure, or in peace. And this is, subhanallah, this is maybe the one city or the one country that Allah mentioned in Qur'an, which is Egypt, Masr. And he said, Insha'Allahu aminin, that you will be safe. And to be honest, like mentioning in Qur'an and seeing that Egypt is a safe place since all of these old days, and lots of Prophet Musa also was there, and Prophet Yousef. So it's a blessed land and it's a safe land. And even now, like if you see people or Egyptian, or if you went to Egypt, you really feel so welcome. You really feel people are, subhanallah, like the people of that country, they are so nice, so kind with other people. And it definitely has something with its heritage or the history that has been through all of these years. And also that when Allah said that, it's mentioned in Quran, ادخلوا مصر إن شاء الله آمنين, that it's, you will be safe in Masr. And this is a very special country with lots of power and lots of blessing through all of the years in general. And this is what we see, like even in the in its culture and its history, the pyramids, the pharaohs and stuff, like they have lots of science, lots of discoveries that has been done there. So subhanallah. ورفع أبويه على العرش وخروا له سجدا. Okay, so he left his parents on the throne or the place where the king, let's say, sat. وخروا له سجدا, and they fall down or bow down to him, doing sujood. Okay, and there's 2 points we need to pay attention to this one. رفع أبويه على العرش, he put his fathers in a higher place out of respect. This is something very important. So they came together, their parents and also their his brothers. But out of respect, imagine Yusuf salam was having a higher status there. Like he was sitting and he is helping as like a minister in this kingdom, let's say. So he didn't want his parents to feel less than him. So at the time his parents came, he tried to put them close to him. At the same time, he put him in the throne next to him. Okay, and then خروا له سجدا, they were bowing down to them. And there is two meaning in sujada in Quran, by the way. When you look into sujood, it could be physical act and it could be emotional act. Okay, which is submitting. When you submit to something, you're doing sujood. You know, when you are trying to listen and surrender, not surrender, but you know, like a submitting, you're trying to see to obey to this something, you are doing sujood. So there is two meaning. And why is that? There is another ayah, Allah is saying ادخلوا الباب سجدا, which is enter the door sujada, like by doing sujood, bowing. And it's impossible for you to do it in a physical way, but we see it in a more emotional or meaningful way, which is like enter the door, which was the opening of that country, is to entering while submitting and surrendering, uh, um, not attached to different type of things. So, and this is one of the way that you can use to get to know to the meaning of words in Quran, subhanallah, by searching in the other ayah where did it mention. So we might know, okay, sujood is sujood in Arabic or in general, like bowing down, the one that we do in our prayer, in our salah. But once you search it in Quran, the word sajada, you will find it has been mentioned in different places with different meaning. If you read the whole ayah or the where it comes, the narrative or in which story it comes. So at that time, you will understanding will increase and see, okay, in this sujood, does it make sense if I took the physical meaning or as the other one? Again, we don't know for sure. We're doing reflecting, we're doing tadabbur and tafakkur. We could be right, we could be wrong, but it's good to see all aspect of it, because sometimes you feel like, how come, like you will enter the door, sujada, doing sujood, doing bowing. It's so difficult. Like, how come? But then you see, maybe it has the other meaning. And then here is where you do tadabbur and tafakkur. And you start to research. In other ayats mention same word. Okay? وقال يا أبت هذا تأويل رؤياي من قبل قد جعلها ربي حقا. And he said, "O my father, this is the interpretation of my dreams before. Allah has made it real." Okay? And this is the dream that we started the story with, is when he see 11 planets that they're doing sujood or bowing down to him. وقد أحسن بي إذ أخرجني من السجن وجاء بكم من البدو بعد إن نزع الشيطان بيني وبين إخوتي. And he did good to me that he gets me out of the prison. He's talking about Allah. And he brought you from Badu, it's like the desert. After the shaitan has try to let's see, has incited or tried to separate us between me and my brothers. Okay? And here is subhanallah, like, see the forgiveness of Yusuf alayhi salam. His brother is in front of him. Okay? He didn't say that, "Oh, I'm so grateful to Allah that He saved me from being in the well, and because my brother threw me in the well." No, he didn't mention this incident. He mentioned only when he get out of the prison. وقد أحسن بي إذ أخرجني من السجن. Okay, and this is again is out of respect to his brothers, and at the same time it shows that he forgive them. He's doing afu, he's doing ihsan for them. He didn't want to say like, I remember the time you throw me in the well, the time I might almost was dead or so on. No, because he didn't want to focus on the negative things in his story. And this is how he turned his story into a more positive perspective, seeing the benefit of it or seeing the good things in it, not as a victim mentality. He didn't try to see, "Oh, this happened to me, and then I went in the well, then they pick me, they sell me for a cheap price, then the wife of Al-Aziz tried to seduce me, then I entered the prison." No, he is now mentioning the good things that happened to him. Even though his story was full of both, but he chose to focus on the good side or the positive side or the blessing that Allah gave him. And this is how he do or being grateful for all of these. Subhanallah. So, and he also being thankful. It's like he's counting the blessing that Allah, he did good with me, قد أحسن بي, that he get me out of the prison, and he brought you from the desert, from Badu. Okay, he brought you to me, brought my family to me, and after that, shaitan is trying to get between me and my brothers. So he didn't blame his brothers for doing all of that. He blamed shaitan. He blamed that, "I know you still deep inside are good people or are good persons," for his brothers, "but maybe you listen to the waswasa of shaitan." And this is why, again, this is out of respect and out of seeing the bigger picture, seeing what is going on, seeing why Allah put him in the story, why Allah made this story for him in his life. And he reached this level of maturity that he is learning and seeing the wisdom behind why Allah put him in all of these, not focusing on them holding grudges or holding hate of the other. As we said, like, life is like a game. When you focus on the other player, you will lose the game because you will not get to understand what type of lessons or what type of benefit that you can get out of the things you went through in your life, out of your story. So here he didn't focus, or he didn't just say, "And I was struggling and you throw me and you hate me and you're bad people." And and I'm a poor person. No, he was a strong mu'min. And he had a strong belief that all of this happened to me for a reason. And see where I came at the end? I'm the master of in this kingdom in Egypt. I'm the one who's controlling, distributing supplies and food to the whole country. And eventually, Allah brought me, my family to me, all of them. So again, this is how we look into things. One of the things we learn is, are you gonna be playing the victim mentality or a survival mentality? Am I a survive person or am I a victim? You choose. And it's up to you. It's your perspective. You can choose both. In every story, there is a good and bad side. In everything in life, there is negative and positive. In every situation, there's black and white. You choose which one you want to take and highlight and make it more bigger and see and learn what type of lessons you will get out of it. So you will become a winner. If you focus on the losses, you will become a loser because you will become a victim and there's no benefit in it. You're going down in this one. Okay? And then he said, Subhanallah, Inna Rabbi latifun lima yasha. Innahu huwa al-alim al-hakim. So he said, then Allah or my Lord is kind for whatever he wants or wills. He is the one al-alim, the all-knowing, al-hakim, and the all-wise. Okay? Why did he mention these type of attributes of Allah? He mentioned the kind, all-knowing, and all-wise. Latif, kind, because it's like he is reflecting upon everything happened to him. He can see the kindness of Allah in everything. When we go back to his story, like having a car or people, like, let's say not a car, a sayyara, we said it's like people passing by the well, is to come at that certain time and discover there is a boy inside of the well and get him out of this well. And then he went and they sell him to another family. And this family, he said, أحسني مثواه, which is treat him better. He might benefit us later on. So he put him in a kind household, let's say, or in the kind family. And then even with the story of Imra'at al-Aziz, the wife of al-Aziz, when she tried to seduce him, and then they opened the door and he find al-Aziz, and then there was one of Allah, because he's kind, he sent him someone to say, if his shirt was cut in from front, that means she is the one. If it's cut from or held from the back, that means she's the one was trying to follow him or run after him. So because of the kindness of Allah, Allah sent him people and put him in certain situation that shows this kindness, subhanallah. It's like he's like having a flashback and reflecting of all his story and focuses on the kindness of Allah. And even like after that, and when he was in prison, because he saw the kindness in his companies and the one who were with the presents, and how Allah made them dream with a dream, and then Allah give him the ability to do interpretation of dreams. And then these were the reason after Allah to get him out of the prison. And then how the king chose him specifically and told him, I want you to come and work with me. I want to put you in a high rank in the kingdom. So he can see all of this kindness. See, he's now shifting his perspective or being grateful for the positive side of his story, and see and look in details of the kindness of Allah through his story, subhanallah. And then the all-knowing and the all-wise. Now he is admitting it was not for nothing. He learned a lot from the all-knowing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala al-alim. He learned a lot. All of these events it left an effect on him. He gained lots of knowledge and experience that benefit him. And Allah al-Hakim also, he gained lots of wisdom. Imagine having a life full of all of these incidents and ups and downs and struggles and so on. Eventually you will end up with a very powerful and a very wise personality. And lots of knowledge you will gain out of it. So it's like now he's like, to summarize, like, oh, it's like all of the puzzles are getting together. All of this happens for a reason. Allah is the one who made this because for my own benefit. And subhanAllah, this is how we can reflect in our life. Sometimes we go in a bad situation, or a situation we think it's so negative or so bad, or why Allah is putting us in this type of struggle. But it's for us to shape us to a better place, to get into a better or a higher degree, higher rank. So subhanAllah, this is why if you see all the stories of the prophets, they all struggle. They all have people like facing them or criticizing them or hurting them or so on. But it happened for them to make them stronger. It happened to them because Allah is hiding a higher place for them to reach. So, subhanallah. Okay. So it's again, we are learning from the stories of the prophets on the things that how we can reflect it in our life and how we can use it. If the prophets who were so close to Allah had these type of difficulties, how come we are, as a human being, as a normal human being, like, we should have this patience and learn that if we get closer to Allah and have faith in Allah and trust that Allah will put us into this situation for a reason, eventually we will get to know why all of this happened to us, why we needed to go through all of this situation. Then he said, ربي قد آتيتني من الملك وعلمتني من تأويل الأحاديث. Oh Lord, you have given me of authority or mulk. وعلمتني من تأويل الحديث, and you taught me the interpretation of dreams, which is the same thing that Yusuf salam was very special in. And he's like, now, you know, when you think about it, like, after he saw his parents and they all his dream come true out of the things that he dreamt before, he's like, it's looking, he has his own time with Allah. Now he's talking to Allah, you know, like having this moment of reflecting and going back to Allah and saying, okay, you give me this authority, you teach me how to do dream interpretation, which was the reason that get me out of the prison after what happened. It's like he's now trying to connect the dots and have this type of gentle conversation with Allah subhanallah, and see this connection, this direct connection of talking your thought out to Allah. It's like thinking out loud with Allah. He is already hearing your thoughts, he's already hearing whatever in your heart. But it's so beautiful when you start to talk to Allah and have this type of conversation of like, oh, and this is why it happened, this is what he said, this is, you let me do. And this is indicate lots of closeness. When you get so close to Allah, try to speak freely to Allah. Get that connection. We don't have an intermediate person between us. We don't need certain situation to be able to speak to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Just speak directly. Don't be afraid. He is accepting you with all kind of ways and shapes. Just talk to him as your closest. Make Allah so close to you that you feel free to talk to him whatever comes in your mind. Then he said, فاطر السماوات والأرض أنت ولي في الدنيا والآخرة. Again, he is saying, oh Allah, or Allah, you are Fatir al-samawati wal-ard. This is one of the names of Allah. Fatir means what? Is the one who split things or bring things out of nothing. Fatara in Arabic is like something came out of nothing. Fatir al-samawati wal-ard, that means he split the heavens or the skies and earth out of nothing. Okay? It's like it came out of nothing. So it's the name of one of the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when we think about, okay, why did Yusuf alayhi salam specifically mention this name? Again, he's doing now a reflection and he's using these names for a purpose, for a reason. He is thinking about all the unexpected reasons or means that happened to him through his story that he didn't expect. Like having the car, the people, Sayyara, the one who came and picked him out of the whale. He didn't expect, he thought he's gonna die. No one would hear about him. But Allah, fatara lahu, He gave him something out of nowhere. Of these people came from nowhere and He helped them. He helped him. Again, the one who defended him about the church or so on, he didn't defend him. He just mentioned a theory and this theory saved him. Okay? Again, the people who were in the prison, and it happened that these two people working under the king, one of them has got killed, the other one, he's still alive, and then it was the reason why he get out. So subhanallah, in life in general, try to think of the things or the incidents that happens to you that Allah send you something or someone, or could be anything out of nowhere, and it was the reason that helped you in this situation. And subhanallah, this is how you also can do dua with the name of Allah, Fatir al-samawati wal-ard. It's like when you feel you run out of solution, you run out of explanation, you run out of the means, you don't know how to do something. Ask Allah, Ya Fatir al-samawati wal-ard, help me in this thing. Use the name of Asma Allah al-Husna. And Allah is saying, له الأسماء الحسنى فادعوه بها. Do dua, do prayer in these type of names. And this is why important, like we need to know these names. How can I know in which dua I need to use if I don't know the deep meaning of the name of Allah al-Husna? And this is actually what we used to do even in the previous surahs. Like we try every week to try to take one of the names of Allah al-Husna. You can see it in the other videos in my YouTube channels, like when we discuss Surah Maryam, we discuss Surah Ar-Rahman, I think. We discuss many surahs, and with these surahs, like we discuss every day, every session, we took one of the names of Allah al-Husna, and then we explain how I can use it in a daily life. How can I do tasbih? How can I do dua? In what situation? For example, like I can use this name. So Fatir al-samawati wal-ard is when you feel there's something impossible, or you don't know how you can get this thing, or you don't know, nothing comes to your mind, you need a solution out of nothing. Do the dua with Ism Allah Fatir al-samawati wal-ard. He will bring you the solution or something out of nowhere, because this is his name. Okay? And subhanallah, this is why Yusuf alayhi salam using that name in this situation. He's remembering all of these things. And then he said, أنت ولي في الدنيا والآخرة. Okay? Again, this is another name of Allah. Wali. Wali is like the guardian. Okay? The one who is in charge of you. He's saying, أنت ولي, oh Allah, يعني, أنت ولي in the dunya and akhirah, in the life after. Okay? So it's like he is again, this is he's doing like being grateful. He's counting his blessing. He's trying to do like mentioning all the blessing that he went through. He's trying to see the bigger picture, as we mentioned, to see the good side. And Wali is like he's saying, as we said, like if he's seeing the flashback of his story, he is like saying that Allah was my guardian, Allah was my wali, Allah was taking care of me through everything in my story and in dunya, and I know in akhirah, in the life after, he will. And this is one of the name of Allah is al-wali, that when you feel there's the creator of the whole universe is your wali, is your the one who is taking your responsibility. He is in charge for you. He is taking care of you. Like we have waliul amr or awliya'ak. Like sometimes, we can say about a father or a mother, he is the wali of the daughter, let's say, or he is the wali of the son. Like the one who take care of him, he's in charge of him, he's like looking after him and so on. So al-wali is one of the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When you keep your mind on the meaning of this name, it gives you lots of assurance. It gives you lots of, you have more trust. If the creator of the whole universe is the one who is in charge of me, why would I be worried? Why would I be stressful? Why would I be afraid of losing something, or of getting hurt, or of anything bad happening to me? The more you connect, the more you see also in your life how is your Allah is your wali in your life. You can see it in different type of things. You can see it even in the planets, like the vegetables, the fruit, how Allah created everything just for you, how Allah is caring about you, why Allah is asking us to eat from a good things, كُلُوا مِنَ الطَّيِّبَاتِ. He's like taking care of you as your wali. Eat from the good thing because I want for you a good health, because I don't want you to get sick. And this is why Allah is telling you, don't drink alcohol, don't do gambling. Why? Because he is your wali, he is care about you. He don't want you to lose your mind and do something bad and hurt yourself, maybe kill yourself or something. He didn't want you to lose your money. He doesn't want you to, lots of things, all the halal and haram is actually for your own protection and for your own interest. Because who made them? Allahul Wali. When you see and think and live your life with that meaning and see how Allah is trying to be your wali in your life, in their life, this is something so beautiful. And again, you can also do dua in it. Like when you don't know what to do, when you feel you are afraid, when you feel that you're stressed about someone might hurt you, you don't know, you have uncertain in something, ask Allah al-Wali to take care of it and surrender to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, submit to Him. He has the highest power. Okay? Then Yusuf alayhi salam said, توفني مسلما وألحقني بالصالحين. Now he's doing dua. He's saying, okay, allow me to die as a Muslim. Okay? Muslim, again, Islam in general is to submit, the Arabic meaning of it. وألحقني بالصالحين, and let me follow the righteous people, which is like Salihin, who's doing good deeds. Okay? And when you see this is the etiquette of dua, subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Prophet Muhammad also mentioned this. Like before you're doing dua, trying to count the blessing or being thankful to Allah, or try to not directly do the dua. Okay? So it's like an etiquette, while talking to Allah is like mentioning the blessing, counting the things that you are grateful for. And this is like what we do also in life coaching. One of the exercise like we give for our clients is like, once you open your eyes in the morning, in the first like opening of your eyes, just try to mention or remember 5 things you are grateful for. Just 5 things. It will not take 1 minute or 2 minutes. Before you even stand up out of your bed, just try to remember 5 things you feel grateful to Allah. Maybe like being able to be alive again for another day. Maybe having a good sleep. Maybe having a nice room, a nice bed. It could be a very simple thing, but it sets your mood in for the whole day. You can do it in the morning. You can also do it before you go to sleep. You can do it while journaling. At least write 5 things you're grateful for. And again, this is a kind of shukr. And Allah said, وَلَئِن شَكَرْتُمْ لَأَزِيدَنَّكُمْ. If you being thankful, if you thank, I'm going to give you more. So if you make it as a habit that every day you do this, trust me, your mood is always up. Your mood is always positive. Why? Because you're counting the blessing, you're being grateful, you're programming your mind to focus on the positive things in your life, not the negative things. Some people, when they wake up in the morning, they start to think, okay, what type of problems I need to deal with today? Oh, my boss, what he will tell me? Oh, this stressful situation. Oh, this problem I need to fix. Definitely your day will be so bad. Your mood will be so negative. So choose your thoughts. Control your thoughts. How? By programming them. How? Do this exercise for, let's say, a couple of weeks or month. Then it's going to be in your autopilot. And then see how your whole personality shift into a bubbly, fun, positive person. And again, this type of blessing will increase in your life, because this is what Allah said. The more thankful you are, the more you will get more. Okay, then, so again, so he mentioned all of these blessings, and then he did the dua. Then he said, ذَلِكَ مِنْ أَنْبَاءِ الْغَيْبِ نُوحِيهِ إِلَيْكَ وَمَا كُنْتَ لَدَيْهِمْ إِذْ أَجْمَعُوا أَمْرَهُمْ وَهُمْ يَمْكُرُونَ. So here, Allah is telling Prophet Muhammad ﷺ that this is from the unknown. This is the news from the unknown. This story you didn't know. We reveal it to you, okay? And you were not with them when they gather their decision and do this plan to put Yusuf in the whale. So again, this is a sign that this Qur'an and this message you're sending is truly from Allah. وَمَا أَكْثَرُ النَّاسِ وَلَوْ حَرَصْتَ بِمُؤْمِنِينَ. And not the most of people will not believe, even if you make sure, if you were keen on it. Okay? So don't be sad. Again, this was the story of Yusuf alayhi salam, or this surah, was in the year of sadness. I think there's a عام الحزن. So where there's like lots of fighting and like at that time Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was like feeling sad. So it's like Allah trying to comfort him by telling him the stories and the struggle of the other prophets. وما تسألهم عليه من أجر إن هو إلا ذكر للعالمين. And you're not asking them to give you a reward or a fees, let's say, or things instead of this one, the Qur'an. It's only a reminder, dhikr, okay? Something to remember for the whole world, للعالمين. Okay? So he's saying that this Qur'an is a reminder for them that all of this happens to the previous prophets. It's the same message of worshiping Allah. You need to worship Allah and do good deeds. Okay? I'm not here to sell you something. I'm not here that I'll tell you if you became Muslim or if you became a believer, I will get something rewarded or I will get money out of it. No, I'm doing it for Allah. وكأي من آية في السماوات والأرض يمرون عليها وهم عنها معرضون. And how many signs in the heaven and earth they do pass by, but they don't pay attention to it. Okay, so here again is Allah is telling us there is lots of ayahs, lots of signs, lots of evidence Allah give us. Even like growing a planet, plants, even like animals, seeing anything, even in us. وَفِي أَنفُسِكُمْ أَفَلَا تُبْصِرُونَ. And in yourself, didn't you see? So everything around us is giving a sign of the greatest creator of the whole universe. وَمَا يُؤْمِنُ أَكْثَرُهُمْ بِاللَّهِ إِلَّا وَهُمْ مُشْرِكُونَ. This is a very beautiful ayah. He's saying, and most of them will not believe in Allah without associating or having shirk with Him or worshipping something else. So I will give you the two interpretation, okay, or the two reflection. One of them, they said that at that time, the mushrikun, the disbeliever, they used to worship, the stones, the asnam, and so on. Before they believe in Allah, or they believed in Allah, but they said, no, but there is other good people, the stones, the worshipper, we get used to worship them. How come we only worship God without them? So they already know and believe in Allah, but they still do shirk or worship others with Him. This is one side. The other side is the more of psychological one. Okay. Sometimes we might do some shirk without knowing. Okay. Like combining or worshipping a person, a goal, a value, a purpose, without knowing we are doing it in combining with Allah. And I will explain. You heard lots of stories like people who were so in love with another person, let's say they're engaged or so on, or boyfriend, girlfriend, or so on, that they loved them so much that they could kill themselves. They thought that the only source of love, even if they are Muslim, they forget the original source of their creation or love or general, and they got focused or combined, almost like worshipping the other person. Same as safety or values in life. Maybe sometimes you will feel like, I feel only safe because of these things, and we forget that the main source of safety is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And eventually you will get tortured out of it, because out of it, like when you get attached to something, it's not the source of Allah, you will get pain out of it, because Allah wants you to go back and realize, I'm the main source. Everything, every blessing, everything, every value, the origin of it is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When you get attached to the mean or the person or the projection of that value, you're kind of doing shirk. You're kind of doing combining or forgetting the main source who you need to worship with the things that Allah give you. It's like, again, you're getting occupied with the small tiny bit of something and forget the main source of it. Okay? Same as like when you have a goal, when you have things that really distract you from worshiping Allah, it's like you're doing shirk. It's like you are not worshipping Allah alone. You think, no, safety comes from this person, from this job, from maybe financial safety. This money comes only from this one. So you're doing shirk with Allah al-Razzaq. Again, this is a very deeper one, but sometimes we have our own asnam, our own stones that we worship in our mind we didn't know. It could be also the opinion of people. Maybe we care too much about the opinion of other people that sometimes we might do something that does not just satisfy Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or something haram or a sin, just to satisfy other people, or because maybe afraid what other people's opinion is going to be in us. You're doing shirk now. because you put the opinion of other people more important than the opinion of Allah on you. So this is very, very important. Ask yourself, what type of asnam do I have? It could be from backside in your subconscious mind, or you didn't realize it. But if it's stopping you from something, or something does not satisfy Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you feel you are magnified more than the mercy of Allah, or the rizq from Allah, or the pleasing Allah, you need to start question these type of things. Okay. Then أفأمنوا أن تأتيهم غاشية من عذاب الله أو تأتيهم الساعة بغتة وهم لا يشعرون. Do they feel secure that there is gonna be torment, or Allah's torture is gonna come to them overwhelming, or the Sa'a, which is the time of the judgment day, is going to be without them knowing or by surprise, and while they didn't in the least expected. Okay, so no one knows when he's gonna die. No one knows what the time of judgment, the day of judgment. So did they feel secure to go on with worshipping other than Allah and having this shirk and continue with it? Because some of them, they said, like at that time, oh, when we gonna die, we're gonna be a believer, or we're gonna repent when we are close to be dead. No one knows. No one knows when you're gonna die. No one knows. Maybe the life after will happen before you die. No one knows. So you don't have that type of security. قل هذه سبيلي أدعو إلى الله على بصيرة أنا ومن اتبعني وسبحان الله وما أنا من المشركين. So here he's saying, oh, say this is my sabil, this is my way, okay, to do da'wah to Allah, to ask people to Allah, okay? And على بصيرة, on basira is like as a knowledge or insight. I have an insight in it. أنا ومن اتبعني, I am and the one who would follow me. And subhanallah وما أنا المشركين, glory to Allah, or subhanallah, and I'm not the one who will worship other than Allah. This ayah is so beautiful, and we can see it in a different angles. Every one of us can do da'wah to Allah. You don't need to be sheikh, you don't need to be imam, you don't need to be that kind of person that doing da'wah to Allah. You have your own way you can do da'wah, even the simplest one. The way of Muslim you present, the way of act you do, the way of morals you have. It could be like you went onto the supermarket and you do something, and someone saw you doing something, then he started to feel interested about Islam. This is your sabil, your way of doing da'wah. You don't need to bring Qur'an with you everywhere, and or like, you know, like official da'wah. But every one of us can do this da'wah. Don't make shaitan make you believe that no, da'wah is only for certain type of people with certain certificate, with certain knowledge. No. Don't do this. Don't do this. It could be very simple, like maybe just saying hi or hello or being kind to someone else. That could be your simplest way of doing da'wah. Then maybe Allah will put the acceptance in their heart, and they became more curious to look for Islam. And maybe if someone asks you about Islam, you can guide them into like searching or help them with your possibilities, with your capacity. So it's Allah's telling us, He's saying, قُل is like say. Okay? This is my way to do to Allah. هذه سبيلي أدعو بها الله إلى الله. So ask yourself now, what is your sabil? What is your way that's available in your capacity right now that you can do da'wah to Allah with it. It could be like hitting share on any type of video with ayat Qur'an or verses of Qur'an. It could be, for example, putting a story or just putting like or reposting something. You never know who would see it and who would became interested in Islam. It's your way, sabili, it's your way. Everyone has his own way to do da'wah to Allah. Do not downgrade it. It's all count. It's all seen by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you will be rewarded to it. With your own capacity, within your own knowledge. Don't say I can't. Don't say it's difficult. No, start with whatever is available. It could be, as I said, like a share, post, something, anything very simple that could help or someone would help. Just put the intention for it. And subhanallah, Allah will make the road easy for you if your intention is pure. Okay? وما أرسلنا من قبلك إلا رجالا نوحي إليهم من أهل القرى. And we didn't send before you other than men. And here men is not only men in general. نوحي إليهم, that we reveal for them, من أهل القرى, from the people of these villages. أفلم يسيروا في الأرض فينظروا كيف كان عاقبة الذين من قبلهم. Didn't they walk in this land and see what is the consequences of the people behind them? وَلَدَارُ الْآخِرَةِ خَيْرٌ لِلَّذِينَ اتَّقُوا أَفَلَا تَعْقِلُونَ. And the life after is better for the people who have taqwa. Okay? And fear Allah and protect themselves. أَفَلَا تَعْقِلُونَ. Don't you understand? Or تعقلون, as we said, like using your mind. عقل is mind. Again, Allah is asking us always to reflect and think. حتى إذا استيأس الرسل وظنوا أنهم قد كذبوا جاءهم نصرنا فنجي من نشاء ولا يرد بأسنا عن القوم المجرمين. Until when our messengers became despaired, or let's say like giving up almost, and they thought that they have been denied. كذبوا, or people told them that you are lying. At that time, our help has come to them. Okay? And we save them. Give them nasr. Okay? وَلَا يُرَدُّ بَأْسُنَا عَنِ الْقَوْمِ الْمُجْرِمِينَ. And our punishment will not be prevented from the people who made bad deeds. Or mujrimun, the one who criminals, let's say, he did bad things for other people. Again, this is a believing system. Like sometimes when you reach that point of like giving up, almost giving up, subhanallah, this is the time where Allah give you the opening or the answers you've been looking, or the solution of the problem you have. So always be patient and don't give up. لقد كان في قصصهم عبرة لأولي الألباب. Now Allah is telling us at the end of the story, at the end of the surah, that all of these stories of the prophets and everything in Qur'an, all the stories that mention in Qur'an, are a lesson. لأولي الألباب. Lesson for who? The people who have reasoning or wisdom people. أولي الألباب, it's a very famous word that comes in repeated in Qur'an subhanahu wa ta'ala. أولي الألباب is the people who has lub. Lub is mean what? Is, you know, like when you have a seed, the inside of it, we call it lub in Arabic. Okay? And it's a metaphor for, let's say, your brain. Your brain is inside your skull. Okay? Or you don't look for the exterior, the surface. You look for the deep wisdom inside, subhanallah. So it's Allah saying there's certain type of people, we call them ulil albab. Uli, as we said, like the people who have, okay, al albab is the one who's looking for the deep things, the inside wisdom, the interesting, the delicious, nuts inside of it. Always the things inside is so delicious. It could be anything like nuts, pistachio. I don't know. Anything always inside is like a very nice thing. So, subhanallah, Allah is saying that these stories will benefit. Ibra in English, in Arabic, ibra is like a lesson, or you will benefit from it. Who will benefit? The people who look for the deep insights. The people who don't like or looking for the surface solution or looking for surface thing or don't think deeply or reflect will not get the benefit probably. So this is a very beautiful ayah. Like even if you go deeper and deeper in it, it's so subhanallah how Allah articulated. Okay? ما كان حديثا يفترى. This was not something made up. Okay? ولكن تصديق الذي بين يديه وتفصيل كل شيء وهدى ورحمة لقوم يؤمنون. But it is something as a confirmation of whatever in your hand. So it's a confirmation of the Qur'an, the miracle of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, to make them believe more in his message that he is one of the prophets, because he's bringing all the stories that has been mentioned in the other history and the other books, in the other holy books. How come they will know that he is the prophet? So all of these stories Allah is mentioning as a confirmation that this is the last prophet. وَتَفْصِيلَ كُلِّ شَيْءٍ, and an explanation of everything, a detailed explanation of everything. And this is another purpose of Qur'an and Prophet. Is like it comes to as the last book to give you more details of the things that could happen. The other books that has been changed, the Old Testament, the New Testament, the Bible, and then there was lots of changes. People start to confuse, like how come, what happened? But Quran is the one that is reserved, unchanged. So it gives us all the explanation. وَهُدًى وَرَحْمَةً, a guide and a mercy for the people who have faith. So Quran is here for you as a guidance, as a mercy, if you believe truly in it. Okay? And this is the end of the surah, alhamdulillah. Finally, like we finish the Surah Yousef alayhi salam. We stayed for more than 2 months. But alhamdulillah, like it has lots of benefits and idea. And thank you so much for attending all of this. And the one who didn't attend the previous session, you can also see it in the previous, in the other videos in my YouTube channel. And if you have any questions, any concerns, you're more than welcome to ask.